we come through. Ooh, we on it. Ooh.
It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Hello, everybody. Ernie Johnson here for 2K Sports alongside Kenny the Jet Smith and Shaquille O'Neal. Just a few games left before the NBA playoffs and the final seeding starting to... In this game, we'll see the San Antonio Spurs going up against the Indiana Pacers. For Indiana...
It's great to be with you on a Monday afternoon as we get set for this broadcast of the NBA on 2K Sports. Joined by Greg Anthony, Steve Smith, and David Aldridge, this is Kevin Harlan. And with us tonight, the author of the 700-page book of basketball, a must-read, Bill Simmons.
It's great to be here, and everyone wants me to rewrite that book, but I don't have it in me. So much has changed in basketball over the last 9 years. I got to redo my Hall of Fame pyramid, but I can't sit down and do it, Kevin. I think it's going to last.
How long did it take you to write that book?
It was 3 years of my life, and I was younger. Now it would just be coffee all day, trying to stay awake for it.
But a New York Times bestseller for multiple weeks.
It was number one. Yeah, it was
absolutely
great. And it taught me that I knew people love basketball, and I think we've seen this decade as basketball has just blossomed into something much bigger than I think it's ever been. I could tell with the book, people liked it.
Just off a road trip, the Pacers are back at home. Victory eluded them last time in San Antonio when they took on the Spurs.
Yeah, guys, they were forcing it a bit in that one and shot a relatively low percentage because of it.
But you have to give them credit for being aggressive. The problem is they play too much hero ball. You have to be willing to make the extra pass.
And a look at the starters for San Antonio. Medu is out there with DeRozan. Then there's LaMarcus Aldridge. Then there's Murray. And it's AI in at the two. Domantas Sabonis, the son of the legendary Arvydas Sabonis. Bill, you saw Arvydas play. I was impressed with his game and called a lot of his games. When you think back to the time that the elder Sabonis was in the game, what do you remember?
Not much. I mean, we saw Sabonis
at the end.
At the end of his career, the equivalent of seeing like Dwayne Wade on the Miami last year or something. Sabonis in the 80s, by all accounts, was the most talented center, maybe other than Bill Walton, that we've seen for all-around centers. I still
That's
think,
quite a statement.
Yeah, I think Kareem, just for physical skills and the stuff he brought to the table, is still number one. The skyhook is the greatest shot of all time. But Sabonis was like, could shoot from the outside. He was a Bill Walton-type passer, incredible rebounder, huge. Probably had the biggest head I've ever seen in person.
Huge.
It was just this big granite block of a head. And unfortunately, we didn't have League Pass back then. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't really have any way to see these guys. So you just kind of heard about the legend of Sabonis. Now you think about fast forward to 2018, Luka Doncic comes into the lottery, and we've all watched him. You go on YouTube, you can watch the EuroLeague finals on NBA TV.
Right.
And I have opinions on this guy. I had no opinions on Sabonis in the mid-'80s, just what people told me.
Here's Oladipo following the basket by LaMarcus Aldridge. Walker with it. AI picks him up. Good on the triple. Young's got 5 points so far. Bill, we know about the love affair you have with the NBA, and you've written about it for so long. Started with the $4 ticket in Boston with your dad.
Yeah, my dad bought season tickets for the 1973-74 Boston Celtics, and it was only one ticket. And I think it was $4 a game, probably like $160 total. And he used to carry me in mainly because they didn't want to pay for a babysitter. So I started going to games that year, probably sleeping through a lot of them. And they won the title.
How old were you in 72?
So I was 4.
4 years old.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember anything from that season. The first season I remember is the year later when they lost before the finals to Washington. And then the year later they won the famous finals against Phoenix, the triple overtime game. I was there.
Was Cowens on that team?
Cowens, Havlicek,
Yep.
JoJo White.
Yep.
And I was at the triple overtime game in the 76 finals. Was probably the most famous NBA game ever. The kids out there now would nominate like Game 7, 2016 or something. But triple overtime game was the most famous game ever. And I slept through the entire second half and the first overtime.
Oh, no.
But then woke up because everybody was standing the whole second overtime, so I had to get up.
Bill Commissioner Adam Silver believes the 2K Esports League will have the staying power of the NBA, WNBA, the G League. A pretty powerful comment to make.
And I hope he's right, because I want to be the lead color guy. I want us to be the team. Why can't it be us, Kevin Harlan?
Are you kidding me?
Let's do that. Cut me the check.
Sign
As Rasheed
me
Wallace
up.
would say, CTC, cut the check.
Bill Simmons is here.
I'm ready.
So Indiana ends up with a new group on the floor. San Antonio also making some changes. Davis Bertans checks in for Medu. Walker comes in for DeMar DeRozan. And Derek White subbed in for DeJounte Murray. So timeout called here, the first for Indiana. And now we'll go to David Aldridge, who had a chance to talk with head coach Nate McMillan.
Well, Kevin, I asked him what the strategy was offensively, and he said, look, we want to avoid having to take so many outside shots. They want to exploit what he described as a mismatch inside. He said, we have the talent down low to make things very difficult on those guys. We're going to use it. Kevin?
Thank you, David.
Unfortunately for him, the defense is slow to react, but he couldn't make them pay.
White, good.
When the defense pays you that much attention, this is the right response. AI keeping his eyes up, finding the open man.
Here's Leaf, currently averaging almost 6 points a game. Here's Lloyd. He clangs that one off the back iron, and down it falls.
And, you know, he's not usually the guy to break out the crossover. Worked for him that time, but I'm not sure I would be doing that consistently.
Now, here's AI. He's coming off a 28-point game against Orlando.
And his passing also off the charts in that game. In just about every aspect of their offense, he was dialed in.
And so here is Indiana. It's a 5-point game. And Holiday kicks to Lyles. Holiday against White. Out of bounds. Pacers ball as Indiana keeps possession. Ricky Rubio checked in for AI. 34 seconds. So Indiana ends up with a new group on the floor. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. Medu, he's checked in for Bertans. DeRozan comes in for Walker. DeJounte Murray, he's checked in for Derek White. And AI is subbed in for Ricky Rubio. Now here's Walker. He picked up 18 points in their last win against Sacramento. On the floor for San Antonio, AI is out there with Murray. Then it's DeRozan. Then there's LaMarcus Aldridge. And it's Medu in at the 4. Now here's Walker. He's guarded by AI. Walker the pass to Oladipo. There we go. Now in the scoring column with that make, he is 1 for 4.
I tell you, he has some impressive moves in his repertoire. That's as good as it gets, but just one of many.
Always full of terrific insights. Bill Simmons, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you. My insights, thank you as well.
And Smitty, so great to have Bill with us, a guy who's ahead of the curve creatively.
Kevin, he was a pioneer in blogging, Emmy nominated for his work on documentaries. The guy never stops thinking of new ways to produce content.
Here's Oladipo following the basket by LaMarcus Aldridge. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Sabonis kicks to Oladipo. Three-pointer. The rebound by AI.
Lacking confidence right now in his offense. He's been shaky all period.
Murray, good.
And they're beginning to just flat out fall apart defensively right now, especially on the interior.
And the whistle blows on the backcourt violation. He went over and back.
And when you're in catch-up mode, you can ill afford these kinds of errors.
I feel like they're getting ahead of themselves. Just need to rein it in. Focus on each individual possession.
AI outside. His shot is good, making him a perfect 2 for 2 from the floor.
High percentage look for AI. Very confident converting in the painted area.
Murray against Oladipo. Pass to Sabonis. With the fadeaway. No good on the last second attempt there. And we finished one half of basketball. Spurs out in front, ending the second quarter with a massive 16-6 run. Well, we've got a second half of basketball for you. We think it's going to be pretty good. A big comeback, though, is needed for this game to be competitive, and it probably has to happen quickly. We're seeing a tremendous game from LaMarcus Aldridge.
And they haven't needed a lot of shots to get their points. Just tremendous efficiency here in the first half.
What I love watching is they are working for high percentage looks and cashing in when they get them.
Young out there with Domantas Sabonis. Then there's Oladipo. Then there's Brewer. And it's Walker in at the 1 spot. They're the group for Nate McMillan starting the second half. Let's go now to the sideline and catch up with David Aldridge.
Hi, Kevin. Well, AI in their last time out against the Magic had a huge game. He ended with 28 points and seemed to be playing in slow motion with a huge number of assists. A very solid stat line for him in what was a terrific outing. And you know he wants to keep the momentum going, Kevin.
Great, David. Appreciate it. Well, he set the bar pretty high for himself with that performance.
He did. I mean, but we know he's going to try to raise that bar again tonight. No matter how good he is, he's always thinking he can do better.
It's going to be tough. I'm sure their entire defensive game plan is centered around how to stop him. They're going to be all over him.
And he gets the whistle. 2 free throws coming up. The Pacers shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw shots of the night.
And taking a look at the numbers on the season, they've converted about 77% of those foul shots.
And for his whole career, Thaddeus Young has been a player not afraid, Greg, of attacking defenders head on.
Young has such a great first burst of speed. He really is a handful to deal with. Gets a lot of transition buckets that way, and in the half court can set up teammates by creating space. In the latter part of his career, I think he's taken on more of a vocal leadership role as well.
And the Pacers call time here. Nice game, great performance by LaMarcus Aldridge.
You know, he's been a one-man wrecking crew down low. His consistent scoring has dictated the pace of this game. We'll see if they decide to front him, bring a quick double, or maybe even both to try to slow him down.
And Indiana making a change here. Isles checked in. Over a minute and a half into the 3rd quarter of action. Here's Holiday. Misses off the left iron. Spurs leading by 17. Here's White. And good coming on the assist by AI. White's got 5.
Oh, wow. 4 of 5 to start the half. Coming out on fire.
And the officials signal the backcourt violation. Not very careful there. As we close in on the start of the playoffs, let's see how the East is stacking up. You take a look at the 76ers. They've continued to play strong basketball, if not utterly dominant, as the last part of the season grinds toward the playoffs. And it looks like, guys, they'll hold on to that #1 spot the whole way there. And, of course, the Pacers, not in the same realm right now in terms of their record.
I think for the Pacers, this season has to really become a wake-up call for them moving forward. If they didn't recognize before this year that they didn't have the talent to compete in this league, they sure as heck better recognize it now.
I'm sure they do, because it's obvious that the way this team is currently constructed just isn't working. Changes have to be made, and they can't wait too long to make them. Delivering these passes in tight quarters, that's tricky.
Here's AI, and the jam by AI.
Ripping through the lane, AI does a great job of getting to the rim, then making a statement.
A little over 2.5 minutes off the clock in this final half of play. And Holiday kicks to Leaf. Here's Lloyd. No good from outside. Spurs leading by 21. Aldridge, the pass to White, goes to the reverse layup and drops it in. White's got 4 points in the quarter. Well, we know, Steve, the GMs are in a tough position in this NBA. Trying to win, obviously, is the #1 desire, but they got to balance everyone's view of the landscape. winning now as opposed to looking what's best for the future.
And it's totally hard because we all understand what happens because you get penalized at the end of the year if you're not a team that's, pretty much locked in the playoffs. You almost want to lose games to get a chance to have a better chance to get a higher draft pick. I think this is something that over the course of the next few seasons, this will be looked at very closely.
And here's Oladipo. He'll bring it up for the Pacers. Passes it to Leaf. Lloyd, light covering. Pass to Wiles. Shot to stop the run. And the shot falls short this time.
A good board there, Kevin, but overall they're getting slightly out-rebounded.
And AI with the stuff.
Tonight, an absolutely dominant performance by AI. His talent and endurance on full display.
Oladipo outside. And it's sent back by Aldridge. And a fast break now for the Spurs. And a wide open look for Walker. And a miss there on the triple. The Pacers have gone 2 of 7 from the field in the third. That leaves room for improvement, sir. Holiday, the pass to Wiles. Count the basket.
High percentage play. Working the ball in close, then the nice move to convert.
And San Antonio shooting an almost unfair 78% from the field. AI passes to Aldridge. And good coming on the assist by AI. AI's got his 9th assist in the game now. The Pacers have gone 3 of 8 so far in the third quarter, looking to lock in that rhythm. That's going to be over and back, not watching for the line that time. So San Antonio going with an almost entirely new group here. DeMar DeRozan, he's checked in for Aldridge. Bryn Forbes. Now, here's Walker. All right, now a chance to set the floor courtesy of Gatorade. Fourth quarter action, all fueled up and ready to go. On the court for San Antonio, we've got Mills. DeRozan out there with Medu. Then it's AI, and it's Forbes in at the small forward. It's AI on the wing, guarded by Oladipo. Here's AI, and the jam by AI.
You talk about explosion. Once AI gets to the rim, very little you can do to stop it.
Here's Walker. He kicks it to Brewer. Well, Steve, we've just come out of the first year where we saw legislation from the NBA about resting players. How do you feel about the new rules so far?
I like them. I love that when you start to see these teams that was resting players on national televised games, but I think overall just resting players. I think our contract says that we play 82 games unless you're injured. And if a guy is injured, you understand, but I love the new rules that was implemented.
I agree. Davis Bertans checks in for DeMar DeRozan. Now, here's AI. He's covered closely. Bertans, and good coming on the assist by AI.
Nice read by AI. You see the natural instincts plus the discipline. Hits the roller on time, on point.
Now the pass to Johnson. Six to shoot. Sabonis kicks to Johnson. There's Walker with the three. Here's Sabonis, and slam dunk by Sabonis.
And putting in the work on the boards, and it's paying off with chances like that.
And GA, he does put in the work. You're right. It's why he's on the finishing end of one putback slam after another.
He just never gives up on any play, any shot. He's always battling in the paint. He's one of the best at that position.
Walker's shot is off.
And tonight, he just hasn't been efficient offensively. That's a big reason why they're behind.
Indiana's gotten off to an 0-for-2 start from downtown here in the fourth quarter. McDermott passes to Lemon. The rebound by Medu. Medu's got 4 rebounds now tonight. We're in the fourth quarter here, just under 2.5 minutes gone. And he goes strong with the one-handed jam.
I like the ball distribution there by AI. He draws a lot of defensive attention, opens up things for others.
And Walker kicks to McDermott. We hear the term empty stats every once in a while, Steve, usually referring to great production on a bad team. How valid do you think that theory is?
It is. A lot of guys you see are averaging, these numbers, and players look around, and the players you're saying, unfortunately for him, those numbers are empty stats because there are a lot of times these numbers are found in when the game is decided. And a lot of times on bad teams, you see these guys going for numbers. Then you get a chance to see them play on good teams, and those stats just don't match up.
Good explanation. To the inside. Sabonis, no good. And so it's Mills who will bring it up for the Spurs. Down low, here's Bertines, and it's good, 2 points.
Up by a bunch. He's still pushing the action, trying to impose his will.
With this big of a deficit in the score, you think the losing team would be playing harder. Nope, the opposite.
Got a piece of it.
Well, guys, this was never really a contest, just a total obliteration, if you will. And you can safely say mission accomplished now for San Antonio.
It was a standout performance across the board.
I mean, it was like watching a cat play with a mouse. They were able to do more or less whatever they wanted.
And words can hardly describe the way these guys have come out game after game after game and been dominant facing both conferences. When they hit the 72-win mark, we thought it couldn't continue. And when they rewrite the record books once more, we'll say, wow, we were glad we watched it all. What a team.
And with this win, it gives them a sweep of the season series, even though it's just a brief two-gamer.
The one player that really stands out, of course, in this one, it was a dazzling game for AI.
When we talk about floor general, this is really what we mean. He was making the right reads, directing guys around, delivering passes that were on time and on point.
And he's kind of always had that shoot-first mentality for a point guard. And when you can shoot it like Walker, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Here's AI, and foul on the shot, so he'll get a chance at the line. Kemba Walker picks one up. First free throw is good.
I mean, it's incredible that this guy didn't even get drafted. Team saw his upside, but because of various concerns, no one would pull the trigger. And look at him now.
27 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Outside, Walker. Pass to Lloyd. We've got 13 seconds left in the fourth. From past the arc, Walker's shot is off. AI right side. Fires from the wing. It falls.
Tremendous effort here on the road. That plane ride home is going to be sweet.
They better have some extra goodies on that plane, because after this blowout, they deserve to be rewarded.
And so it's San Antonio easily taking this one. This one was over well before the final buzzer. The fans were waiting for something to get excited about, Greg, but they never got it.
They sure didn't. I mean, they just rolled to this win. They made it look really easy. What an efficient performance at both ends.